like 3.5 marks. So, at first, convert the angular velocity into the wheel into radians per second. So you know that there is, I'm just going to write it over here, 60 seconds per minute. Okay, and then you also know that it completes 3 revolutions per minute. Okay, so when you're going to do the first question, you know that there is 2 pi. That's a solid 2 pi. 2 pi is 1 full revolution. So, same as what we've been doing all year. You should know that. And because you want to convert it as 60 seconds per minute, because you want to convert it into seconds, well, we'll go the revs first. We'll go 3 times the 2 pi because there's 3 revolutions. Alright, so that's how much the distance is, and you want to divide it by 60 in order to turn it into seconds. So when you do that, that becomes 6 pi on 60, which then you can then simplify down to L pi on 10. And that is in radians per second. And the reason for that is you got the 6, this is in radians here, 2 pi is in radians, and there's 3 revolutions, so you times the 2 pi by 3 to get you 6 pi, and you divide it by 60 in order to turn it from minutes into seconds. So it turns into pi on 10 radians per second. So that is question A. I'll let you guys pause the video, do whatever you want there. It's all yours. And I'll just rub this out in 1 second. All good. And we're going. Okay, next. So, determine the speed of the carriage on the Ferris wheel. Selecting your answer in exact form. Okay, well first I'm just going to write down the answer to the last equation, which was W, which is angular velocity, because that's what I asked for there. So W is equal to, what was it? 10, shoot. Whatever it is, equal to pi on 10. Alright? So there you go. So that's W equals pi on 10. Now, you're going to determine the speed of the carriage on the Ferris wheel, stating your answer in exact form, including the relevant units. So you're going to use the formula from the specialist formula book that you find, and there's a formula in there that states V is equal to W times by R. Now, I'm fairly sure you do have to rearrange to get that formula. I'm pretty sure it's in the formula of W equals VR, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, so that's the formula you'll be using for this one. So you want determine, and you'll go in velocity is equal to W, which is pi on 10 times by the revolutions, which is, not revolutions, times by the radius, which it says up here, radius of 15 meters. So times that by 15, which will come down to be 15 pi on 10. And you simplify that out to become velocity is equal to 3 pi on 10. And then that is basically the question finished. You have determined the velocity, or the speed of the carriage, and the only thing that you have left to do is state it in exact form, which we've done, including relevant units that we have not done yet. Now, we know that this here was in radians per second, so we know that this is in per second. But what we did here is the speed was in radians per second, but we multiplied it by the distance in meters. And by doing that, we have converted it into a speed of meters per second. So the distance is now in meters rather than radians. So it becomes meters. Oh, that's a bit spread out. But yeah, you get what it says. You get the overall gist of it. It is in meters per second. And therefore, you can say that the velocity is equal to 3 pi on 10 meters per second. So I'd like to say that is all for today's lesson. You got a